Hello guys, welcome to Learn at Home. Today we will be doing Math Paper 4 970943 May June 2020. Question number 1. Particles P of mass m kgs and Q of mass 0.2 kgs are free to move on a smooth horizontal plane. P is projected at a speed of 2 meters per second towards Q, which is stationary. After the collision, P and Q move in opposite directions with speed 0.5 and 1 meter per second. So let's draw the diagram first. This is particle P of mass m kgs and this is particle Q of mass 0.2 kgs. So this is a smooth plane. As we know in the question, P is projected at a speed of 2 meters per second. So V is equals to 2 meters per second towards Q, and as we know Q is stationary, so the velocity will be 0. Here in this question we will be applying the laws of momentum. As we know, the momentum before collision is equal to the momentum after collision. So momentum before is equals to momentum after. So the formula for momentum is mass into velocity. So let's take the mass of the first particle P, which is m, into its velocity is 2. So m into 2 plus, as we know, the velocity is 0 of the particle Q. So mass is 0.2 into velocity 0 is equals to momentum after collision. So as you know, after the collision, particle P and Q move in opposite directions. So let's take the velocity of P as negative 0.5. So mass will be m into negative 0.5, and for particle Q, let's take it positive 1. So mass is 0.2 into 1. 2 into m is 2m, plus anything multiplied by 0 is 0, is equals to negative 0.5 m plus 0.2. Let's bring 0.5 on the other side of the equation. So 2.5 m is equals to 0.2. So m will be, let me calculate, 0.2 upon 2.5, which is 0.08 kgs. Okay, so let's move to question number 2. A minibus of mass 4000 kgs is traveling along a straight horizontal road. The resistance to motion is 900 newtons. Let's write it down. Resistance is equals to 900 newtons. Find the driving force when the acceleration of the minibus is 0.5 meters per second. So first of all, let's draw the diagram. As you know, it is a straight horizontal road. So I have drawn a straight horizontal road. The minibus of mass 4000 kgs is traveling along a straight horizontal road. As you know, the resistance is 900 newtons, and we want to find the driving force. So here we will be using the Newton's law. F is equals to ma. So F is the resultant force. We will calculate the resultant force by subtracting the forward force minus the resistive force. So F minus resistive force is 900. 900 is equals to, as you know, the mass is 4000 kgs, m into we have been given the acceleration in the question. A will be 0.5. So F is equals to 4000 into 0.5 will be 2000, and then 900 will be added with 2000. So F is equals to 2900 newtons. The part B says, find the power required for the minibus to maintain a constant speed of 25 meters per second. So as we know, they are asking for the power. So the formula for power is equals to force into velocity. So we want the power is equals to, as we have calculated the driving force, which is 2900. So the force will be 2900 into velocity is 25. So power is equals to 2900 into 25, which is 72,500 watts. We can also write it in kilowatts, which will be 12372.5 kilowatts. So I think I made a mistake. As we know, we need to maintain a constant speed. So the to maintain a constant speed, the driving force here should be equal to the resistive force. So we will take the driving force as 900 newtons. So if we will multiply 900 newtons by 25, the answer will be 900 into 25 will be 22,500 newtons. So it will be 22.5 kilowatts. Sorry, 22,500 watts. So this is the answer for question number 2, part B. Let's move on to question number 3. 4 coplanar forces of magnitude 40 newtons, 20 newtons and 50 newtons and F act at a point in the direction shown. The 4 forces are in equilibrium. So they have told us that all of the 4 forces are in the equilibrium. Find F and A. So with these type of questions, we need to resolve the forces into horizontal and vertical forces. For horizontal forces, it's your choice whether to see the vertical forces first or the horizontal. I'm gonna choose horizontal first. So horizontal. For horizontal, we know that the horizontal component of the 40 Newton force will be here. So as we know that the angle is with the x-axis, so we will use cos. So 40 cos and then the theta. Theta is 60 degrees. 40 cos 60 plus another force in the positive x-axis is the 20 Newton force. So we will write 20 cos 30 newtons, so 30 degrees is equals to, as we know that the object is in the equilibrium, so it is not moving, which means that the forces on the right are equal to the forces on the left. So we will write, as we will be equating 50 Newton force with all of these forces. So on the left there is 50 Newton, and as the angle is 45 degrees, so we will write 40 cos 45 plus the F force which we have to find. So F, and the angle is alpha, so F cos alpha. Now we will 40 cos 60 on the calculator is 20 plus, and 20 cos 30 is 10 under root through 3 is equals to 50 cos 45 is 25 under root 2 plus F cos alpha. So this is our first equation. Now let's see the vertical forces. Vertical. So to see the vertical forces, we know one force is in the positive y direction, sorry, two forces, the 40 Newton and the F Newton force is in the positive y direction, and in the negative y direction there are two forces, 20 Newton and 50 Newton. So let's resolve them first. So for positive, as they are in equilibrium, so the positive y-axis will be equal to the forces in the negative y-axis. So 40 sine 60, as the angle is with the x-axis, so we will use sine for y-axis. Sine 60 plus F sine alpha will be equal to the forces in the negative y direction, which will be 20 sine 30 plus 50 sine 45. Let's use the calculator to find the values of the terms. 40 sine 60 is 20 under root 3 plus F sine alpha. 20 sine 30 is 10, and 50 sine 45 is 25 under root 2. We will now substitute equation number 1 and equation number 2 to calculate one of the unknowns. So let's make f the subject here. We will use equation 1 to make f the subject. So 20, we will send 25 under root 2 to the left hand side. So 20 plus 10 under root 3 minus 25 under root 2. So it will be in the calculator, we will use all of the terms. 1.965 is equals to f cos theta, and if we send f here, if we send the cos theta here, so we will make f the subject. So f is equals to 1.965 over cos alpha. As we have made the f the subject, so we will substitute it in equation number 2, which is this equation. So 20 under root 3 plus f. In place of f, we will write 1.965 upon cos theta. So 1.965 upon cos alpha into sin theta is equals to 10 plus 25 under root 2. 20 under root 3 plus, as we know, sin upon cos is tan. So we can write 1.965 tan alpha is equals to 10 plus 25 under root 2. Let's add and subtract the constants. So it will be 10 plus 25 under root 2 minus 20 under root 3 divided by 1.965. So tan theta will be equal to 5.453. Then we will take the inverse of tan to calculate the alpha, which will be 79.61 degrees. As we have calculated alpha, we will substitute the alpha in the equation for f to find f. So f is equals to 1.965 over, so f will be, f is equals to 1.965 over cos, and in place of alpha we will write 79.61. So the final answer for f will be 10.9 newtons. So question number 4. A car starts from rest and moves in a straight line with the constant acceleration of a meters per second square for a distance of 50 meters. The car then travels with constant velocity for 500 meters for a period of 25 seconds before decelerating to rest. The magnitude of the deceleration is 2a. So for the first part, we have to sketch the velocity time graph for the motion of the car. So as we know, the car starts from the rest, so we will start our graph from 0, from the origin, and it goes all, as we know that there is a constant acceleration, so it will be a straight line. Then after that, the car then travels at a constant velocity. For showing the constant velocity, we will draw a horizontal line for a period of 25 seconds before decelerating to rest. The magnitude of the deceleration is 2a. So as we know, the magnitude of acceleration is a, and we have drawn a line which is going upwards with the gradient. For deceleration, as we know, it is twice of a, so the gradient will be more steeper. So we have to show it a more steeper line. As we know, the gradient is twice the gradient of the first acceleration. So that's all for the graph. For part B, find the value of a. So we have to find the acceleration. Okay. So as we know, the time period for the constant velocity is 25 seconds, and we know that the distance covered is 500 meters. So we can apply area under the graph. As you know, it is the velocity time graph, so the area under the graph is the distance covered. So we have to calculate the distance covered. As you know, it is a rectangle. We can break the diagram into 3 parts. As you know, it is a rectangle, so the formula for area will be length into breadth, and the length will be 25, and height will be velocity v, which we don't know. So the distance is 500, the length is 25, and the base is v, which we will have to calculate. So 500 divided by 25, v will be 20 meters per second. As we have already calculated v, now we can easily calculate acceleration. So acceleration will be v minus u over t. Acceleration is equals to v is 20, u is the initial speed, which is 0, as the car is traveling from rest, and the time period for the first is okay. So as we have calculated the velocity, we can now easily apply the kinematics equation 2as is equals to v square minus u square. So we have to calculate a. We will write a as a, and we know the distance is 50 meters, so we will write 50 in place of s, and we have calculated is 20, so 20 square minus u will be 0, as it is traveling from rest. So acceleration will be 20 square over 50 into 2, which is 4 meters per second square. Now for part C, find the total time for which the car is in motion. So we will have to calculate the total time for the car to be in motion. Okay, so now as we know that the acceleration for the first part is, for this part the acceleration is 4 meters per second, we can easily apply the formula for acceleration, which is v minus u over t. Acceleration is 4, v is 20, u is 0, and t is so we don't know the value of t, so we will calculate it. So t is equals to 20 over 4, which is 5 seconds. Now we know that the time for the first part is 5 seconds, for the second part is 25, so this will be 25 plus 5, which is 30. Now we will have to calculate the time for this part. We don't even have to calculate it, because we know that the gradient is twice the gradient of the first part. So if it will cover the time in 5 seconds, so it is understood that the time for deceleration will be 2.5, half of 5. So it will be 30 plus 2 is 32.5. So now as you know the time for all of the segments, we can calculate the total time. So total time will be 5 plus 25 plus 2.5, which will be 32.5 seconds. So that's it for question number 4. Question number 5. A block B of mass 4 kg is pushed up a line of greater slope of a smooth plane inclined at an angle of 30 degrees to the horizontal by a force applied to B, acting in the direction of motion of B. The block passes through points P and Q with speed 12 meters per second and 8 meters per second. P and Q are 10 meters apart, with P below the level of Q. Okay, so let me draw the diagram first for you to understand the question. As we know, it is a slope at angle theta degrees, and the theta is given 30 degrees. There is a block which is B of mass 4 kgs. This is a block B of mass 4 kgs. It passes 2 points P and Q. Let's say this is P and this is Q, which are 10 meters apart. So the distance between them is 10 meters. And at P the speed is 12. At Q the speed is 8. So that's all that we know for the diagram. So for part A, find the decrease in kinetic energy of the block as it moves from P to Q. It is very simple. As you know, the formula for kinetic energy is half m v square. As we need to know the degree, so change in kinetic energy will be half mv square minus, like, the final speed minus the initial speed. So half into m is 4 kgs and the final speed is 8 square, because as we know, we have to calculate the decrease in kinetic energy from p to q. So the velocity at q will be the final velocity and the velocity at p will be initial velocity. So final is 8 and the initial velocity is 12 squared. Let's put it in the calculator. It will be half into 4 into 8 square minus 12 square, which is minus 160. So as we know, the decrease is, as the negative sign shows the decrease, so, and the question is asking for the decrease, so we will write it in positive. So the answer will be 160 joules. Let's see part B. Hence, find the work done by the force pushing the block up the slope as the block moves from P to Q. We need to find the work done by the force. So the work done will be the difference in the change in potential energy and the change in kinetic energy. So as we have already calculated change in kinetic energy in part A, now we will have to calculate the change in potential energy. Change in potential energy is mgh. Change in gravitational potential energy is equals to mgh. But first we will need to calculate the height, the change in height, this height. So here we will use the Pythagoras theorem. As we know, it is a right angle triangle. So this is this height, let's say it is h, and we know the hypotenuse is 10 meters and the angle is 30. So the h will be, we will use the sine, which will sine perpendicular, which is h, is equals to, sorry, sine theta is equals to h over hypotenuse is 10. So h will be 10 sine 30 degrees. Let's substitute h here. So mass will be 4 kgs, g is 10 and h will be 10 sine 30. So by calculating it in the calculator, the answer will be 200 joules. Now as we have already calculated the gain in potential energy and the loss in kinetic energy, so we can just subtract it to calculate the work done. So work done will be change in kinetic energy, change in gravitational potential energy minus change in kinetic energy. So 200 minus 160, which is 40 joules. At the instant the block reaches Q, the force pushing the block up the slope is removed. Find the time taken after that instant for the block to return to P. Okay. So the question says that the force in the previous part, as mentioned in the question, the horizontal force B is applied, so it is removed. After removing the force, of course the object will decelerate due to the gravity. So as we know that the driving force at Q is removed, so the only force acting will be the force downwards, so which will be the component of this force. Let me draw the diagram again for part C. So it is a horizontal slope, it is a mass. As you know, this angle is 30, the weight is directed vertically downwards and the normal force is perpendicular to the surface. So according to our knowledge, as this angle is 30, so this angle will also be 30. Now the component of this force, which is weight, is acting here also, so which will be the weight will be 40 newtons, I believe, as the mass is 4, so the weight will be 40. So this component of 40 will be 40 sine 30. Now first we will calculate acceleration. For the acceleration, we can use F is equals to ma, but as we know the forward force is 0, so we can write 0 minus the backward force, as F is resultant force in the formula. So 0 minus the backward force will give us the resultant force, which will be 40 sine 30. F is equals to m, the mass is 4 and A is unknown. So A will be 5 if we calculate 5 meters per second square. Now as we have already calculated A, we can easily calculate the time taken by using the kinematics equation. S is equals to ut plus half a t square. So we will use S is equals to ut plus half at square to calculate the time taken. As we know, the distance from P to Q is 10 meters. So for returning from Q to P, the distance will be minus 10. So minus 10 is equals to U is 8, as at point Q the velocity was 8. So 8t plus half, acceleration is minus 5 as we have calculated, and half a, and t square. T is unknown, so we have to calculate it. Now as our quadratic equation is formed, so minus 10 is equals to 8t minus 2.5 t square. If we calculate it and substitute it in the calculator, the answer will be 2.5 minus 8 and minus 10. So one answer will be t is equals to 4.16 seconds, and the other answer will be t is equals to minus 0.96. As you know, time can never be negative, so we will reject it. So the answer will be t is equals to 4.16 seconds to return from Q to P. Let's move to question number 6 now. A particle travels in a straight line PQ. The velocity of the particle t seconds after leaving P is v meters per second, where v is equals to 4.5 plus 4t minus 0.5 t square. So they have given us the equation for velocity, and in part A they are asking for the velocity at the instant when the acceleration is 0. Okay, so they are asking the velocity at the instant where the acceleration is 0. So first we have to make an equation for acceleration. As we all know, acceleration is velocity upon time, so we will differentiate it to get the equation for acceleration. So in order to differentiate it, let me copy the equation first. V is equals to 4.5 plus 4t minus 0.5 t square. So dv upon dt is equals to, as you know, the differentiation for a constant is always 0. As the power of t is 1 here, so 1 will be multiplied by 4. 4 into 1 is 4, and 1 minus 1 is 0. So for differentiation of 4t, it will be 4, and minus 2 into 0.5, which is 1, and then 2 will be subtracted by 1, so 1 t. Now as we know, this is the acceleration, dv upon t is acceleration, and they are asking us the velocity when the acceleration is 0. So we will equate the whole of the equation to 0. So let's shift t to the other side of the equation. T is equals to 4 seconds. So now we know that at time t is equals to 4 seconds, the acceleration is 0. Now we can substitute 4 in the velocity equation to get the velocity at the instant when the acceleration is 0. So velocity is equals to 4.5 plus 4 into, we will write 4 in place of t, 4 minus 0.5, 4 square. So we will use a calculator to find 4.5 plus 4 into 4 is 16, plus 16 into 0.5 is 8. Okay, so for the part B, the particle comes to instantaneous rest at q. So instantaneous rest means the velocity will be 0. Find the distance pq. Okay, let me copy the velocity equation first. Velocity is equals to negative 0.5 t square plus 4t plus 4.5. So first, as we have to calculate the time at which the velocity is 0, so we will equate this whole equation by 0. So it will be negative 0.5 t square plus 4t plus 4.5. If we substitute this equation in the calculator, we will get 4 and 4.5. We will get t is equals to 9 and t is equals to minus 1. As we know that time cannot be negative, so we will reject it. So our time at which the velocity is 0 will be t is equals to 9. Now as we want the distance, find the distance pq. As we need the distance, we need to have the equation for distance. How can we get the equation for distance? We will integrate the equation for velocity to get the equation for the distance. So if we will integrate it, the value will be negative 0.5 t to the power. We will add plus 1 to 2, which will be 2t to the power 3, and divide by 3, plus 4 t. As the power is 1 here, we will add plus 1, it will be t square, and then divide by 2, and plus 4.5 t, because there is no t, so t will be 0, and 0 plus 1 will be t. This is the equation of the distance, and we also know the limits, because we know when from where to where we need a distance. So we need a distance from t is equals to 9 to t is equals to 0, because t is equals to 0 is the time when the particle started. So we will substitute 9 in place of t. So negative 0.5 over 3, 9 to the power 3, plus we can cancel it. So we will write 2 into 9 square plus 4.5 into 9 minus, now it's the turn for 0, so we will write 0 in place of t. So 0.5 over 3 into 0 plus 2 into 0 plus 4.5 into 0. We don't even need to care about this thing, this bracket, because as we know everything is being multiplied by 0, so our answer will be 0 here. So 0.5 upon 3 is 1 upon 6. 1 upon 6 into 9 to the power 3 is 121.5 plus, okay, so negative 121.5, as there is a negative sign too. Okay, then 2 into 81 is 162, and plus 9 into 4.5 is 40.5, and this bracket will be 0, as everything is being multiplied by 0, so the answer will be 0. So 40.5 plus 162 minus 121.5 will be 81 meters. So this is your answer for part B.